Boa noite. Pra nós aqui, né? Vamos continuar. Hoje a internet tá boa. Vambora. Ó, tem um evento aqui, velho. Bom, a gente tem que continuar isso aqui, né? Aí depois a gente vai pra o Encontro Explosivo ali. A verdade escondida nas sombras. Vamos terminar logo isso aqui. Eu nem sei se o som do jogo tá bom, tá alto, tá baixo. Eu acho que tá legal, velho. Um lugar diferente. Pra lá? Ué. Ah, é porque eu tô no... Esqueci, cara, que da última eu fui procurar o negócio. Ah, então é só eu dar TP nesse daqui, não? Deixa eu dar uma olhada. É. É mais em cima. É um andar em cima. Esse aqui embaixo é? É embaixo. Vou pegar o elevador mesmo. Tava sentindo que se eu faço isso eu não ia conseguir chegar onde eu quero. Então é melhor pegar o elevador. Pega o elevador e todo mundo é feliz. Elevador? Tá vindo, é porque é muito longe. Cara, eu dei... Ainda não mexi, né, nos artefatos. Deixei só aqui no 4, né. Usa muito acerto crítico. Bônus de crítico. É. Pô, demora, hein, pra chegar. Aproveitar e vou mexer nisso aqui. Tem alguma coisa aqui? Não. Nada. Vou usar ele agora, né? Só preciso upar ele. Vou ter que ir atrás dos atributos dele, né? Tem que matar esse bicho aqui. E ir atrás dessa coisinha aqui. Nossa, é essa pérola. É. Vou tentar upar ele depois, botar level 90. Ainda tem que upar isso aqui, eu consigo... Ah não, aqui é a voz, né? O talento eu não consigo upar, né? Tem que estar nível 2, né? Eu acho que eu vou ver se eu upo ele. Área administrativa. Nossa. E torcer o pescoço. Fala pra caramba você, hein? Pô, vou ter que pegar mais coisa pra subir. Tá mandando ir pra cá. Vou pegar mais um elevador pra subir. Vou subir mais. A gente desceu no último, né? Eu desci tudo. Vamos subir mais, velho. A gente termina Genshin já outro jogo, velho. Tem até coisa no Fall Guys, né? Mas... É o quê? Ah, tá. Nada demais. Área administrativa. É ali dentro. Não é lá do outro lado. Pô, tô indo em um mundo aqui bem longe, hein, velho. Retorne à enfermaria. Ah. Tô retornando. Ah, é porque o carinha lá ficou doente, né? Isso. Acordou.
He's awake. Fremine, how do you feel?
Lenny. Lynette.
We're all here.
Todos estamos aqui.
Where am I?
The infirmary, at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr. Fremine. And you are no longer in any danger. How do you feel? Don't push yourself if you're not feeling up to it.
Até agora a gente não achou o shield, né?
Traveler. Paimon.
Quem
It's
somos
been
nós?
so long. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Tem algo de errado com a
It's
água.
okay. We can talk about it after you've recovered.
Aí tem sardas.
Listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater. I don't know why it's there, but no one should touch it.
O que aconteceu depois que você entrou nos canos?
Pipes.
Ele não se lembra?
Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now.
Lembrou? A gente já vai pra lá, a gente vai... Carregou aqui, né? Por que carregou também não sei. A gente vai jogar com ele.
I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time.
Ué,
It looks abandoned.
diferente, né? Antes ele conta a história não como ele estivesse lá, né?
Where could Master Child be?
E o shield tá ainda aí, né? A gente vai usar ele. Ele é de água, é? Calma aí. É de gelo, tá. Ah, sei quem é ele. Pô, isso era um perigo, hein? Tá muito alto, mas ainda deu bom. Ah, engrenagem.
This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Ativar. Nossa, cheio do mecanismo, velho. E agora? Eu tenho que ativar com ele em cima, é? Não. Nossa, isso aqui é cheio de mecanismo, mas até que é tranquilo. Bem tranquilo, velho. Tá. Tem coisa ali do outro lado. Ela sobe. E o outro mexe pra girar, né? Grande, provavelmente é isso. O outro gira.
It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it.
Ah, não vou ter que descer, né? Pra ajustar eu tenho que descer, velho. Pra ajustar pro outro lado. Será que aquele carinha ali... Tem algum carinha ali que roda? Não, aqui não tem como ativar. Calma aí, deixa eu... Será que eu consigo girar ele ali lá embaixo? Ou só quando ele tá no nível? Não, dá pra girar aqui embaixo. Achei só quando tava no nível, mas não tá, então tá tranquilo. Tcharam. Ah, vamos chegar bem rápido aqui, ó. Será que a gente vai encontrar aqui, né? Portal de ressurreição, checkpoint. É, aqui não dá pra ir rápido, não. Será que o shield... É onde o shield tá, né?
This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look as well.
Vai dar uma olhada. Nem se pergunta, né? Por que será que ele não voltou? Por que será, né? Todo mundo... O que é isso aqui do lado dele? Estão mergulhando debaixo d'água.
The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. There are traces here too. I need to keep going.
Continue.
The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone
É só a
from
gente
here.
criar, meu guerreiro, a saída.
Wait. What the? My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on? No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it.
Quem salvou ele? Ah, a verdade escondida nas sombras, retorne. Vamos retornando.
I can't die here. This is bad. I'm feeling worse and worse, and I'm still underwater. I have to push on.
Quem é aquela ali? Tem alguém vindo ali, hein? Quem é aquela? Ah, aquela ali é a... Eu sei quem é aquela já. Já sei quem é. É a comandante lá, pô. Esqueci o nome dela. Começa com Clorinde, alguma coisa assim. Lembrei.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone. But there was also no obvious place for him to have disappeared to.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going. I probably passed out some time after that, and you know the rest.
Miss
A gente que vai lá
Clarence
agora,
brought
né?
you back, but we
Ah,
also
a
don't know why she just
Clorinde,
suddenly
né?
appeared at the
Clorinde,
fortress,
o nome dela.
or why she went out
Senhorita
to save you.
Clorinde.
Miss Clorand, you say?
Clorinde?
I must go thank her in person.
You're still too weak, Fremine. You can go after you've had some more rest. Miss Lynette is right.
Desce
I
um
believe
pouco.
Miss Clorand will stay here as a guest for another few days.
Por que a gente não
So
vai
there's no
explorar
need
lá,
to
velho?
hurry.
Acho que a gente vai, né?
Guest. Then I can assume Risley was the one who
Eu
invited her
chamei
to
de
come
Duque, é
down
o nome
here.
do guerreiro, velho.
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than me.
Entendido, irei falar com ele.
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on. Wanna come with us, Libby?
É melhor passar, né,
No,
Lily?
please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
Tudo bem.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave. Both of you are just in danger.
Understood. Then let's just sit together for a while. In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now. As long as you stay in here, I don't think you'll be disturbed.
E nada da nossa irmã
Thank you.
aparecer, né? Nem boatos da nossa irmã. Esqueceram da nossa irmã. Nosso objetivo é atrás da irmã. Verdades escondidas terminou. Nova missão. Guardião secreto de zonas proibidas. Ainda estamos no próximo... Mudou. E eu completei também um livro aqui, ó. Ah não, foi expedições? Tá. Não quero saber não. Ah, agora você ganha... Ah não. Ah, recompensa de... Esse 4 diária. Tá. Tem que voltar agora. Até o escritório do Duque. É aqui, né? E aí, Duque? Qual é a treta que tá rolando aqui? Qual é o BO, né? Ó, dá pra subir agora. Tem uma coisa aqui não, né? Olha eles aí.
Excuse me.
Com licença.
I take it Mr. Fremenet's condition has stabilized?
Of course. I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Siegewin?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Como está se
Mostly
sentindo?
fine, I think.
Ela acha que tá bem,
If you
velho.
don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just take a few minutes.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me. I'll take my
É,
leave for now then.
vamos conversar com o Duque, né?
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain.
Por favor,
How about
esclareça.
enlighten?
Até não poder mais.
Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can start with whichever one you'd like to get answered the most.
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very
Paimon.
beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
Ok.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals.
Por que você não os impediu?
Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you?
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremenet has told you already the ratio of primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the rise. The Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Você já foi um criminoso?
Now, why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates. That's all.
Só isso.
Oh, right. Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Cloran down here?
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
Crise.
And saving Fremenet was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already.
Então, a Zona Proibida realmente existe? O que há dentro dela?
That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate
Ué,
Child's
mas eu já tô
whereabouts.
aqui, né? O que é que tem?
All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremenet.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you answer our last question in return?
You make a compelling case. Do you really want to know the answer that bad?
Queremos.
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know.
Aí a Paimon tá...
Even if the truth may not be pleasant?
Sim, fale. Diga.
Follow me.
Ah, seguir melhor ainda, né? Melhor do que falas. Ah, achei que ele que vai entrar em um mundo diferente, é? É, a gente vai entrar.
There's a hidden door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
Você é muito
It
bom em
seems
esconder
you've
as
forgotten
coisas.
just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is.
Guardiões secretos de zonas proibidas. Vai descer mais ainda.
Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa!
Ué, eles estão cinza por quê? Com todos, o quê? Com tudo sobre a plataforma. Pra ver aqui. Ai, velho, fechei o olho
This
por
is
segundo.
the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special.
É aquilo ali, é? E aquilo ali é?
What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside.
E vamos
Hence
entrar
the
nessa
name,
zona, né?
Forbidden Zone. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking of keeping anything from them.
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding whether or not to tell them.
É, guardiões secretos. Lá vamos nós.
Huh. So there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Já tô longe já. A senha. 3 portões.
Whoa! They all just went up one by one.
E aquilo no meio da sala?
Go on, have a look.
Eu tô querendo ir em frente. Pra dar uma olhada. Explore em frente. Essa sala é realmente bem vazia, o que é bem estranho por si só. Também há um dispositivo no meio dela, se parece com algum tipo de
I've been interested in what
porta
lies
gigante.
beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking?
A temperatura.
Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But we're already under the sea.
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising.
A água do mar primordial está constantemente vazando para o mar.
Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very
A água
close to
primordial
us. The
pode
indicators are now red.
sumir com as
Although
pessoas,
the
né?
gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the
Ao
sea
tempo
around
ali vai
us.
explodir, hein?
If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the
E se o mar
primordial sea at all.
primordial está vazando, se essa comporta for destruída, toda a Fontaine será destruída junto.
Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
Sim. Tô ligado.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the Primordial Sea? Who built this place anyway?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring.
Verconte.
It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here. When the previous Hydro Archon Egeria ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished.
Afugenta
Criminals
os
received no sympathy
bandidos.
of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You may
Vocês
go guard
poderão
my
ir guardar
secret."
meu segredo nas
deep
profundezas
underneath the
debaixo das
waves.
ondas.
And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors.
Ok.
The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the overworld. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved into the sea.
Você acredita em profecias?
To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third.
Então, como Duque da Fortaleza, o que você planeja fazer quanto a isso, né?
Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something.
Bora. Ah, já fui direto.
This is it.
Olha eles dois.
Perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiments have...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone. Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
Loverne, Juriel.
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What?
Oh, por que os bonecos
After
estão
you warned us
tão
not to
sem
tell
cor?
a single soul about any of this?
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The
Ué,
results
sombra
speak
tá
for
meia
themselves,
bomba aí,
don't
velho.
they? These two may already know more than you could
Ele
ever
tá
imagine.
bugando.
All right then, if your grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Que maldade, salvei
How about some
4
reintroductions?
continentes,
This
pô.
is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that
Sim.
you've heard of Edwin?
Já sabia, não sabia.
Good. Saves me a bit of time
Me
explaining.
poupa de explicar.
Edwin's main areas of research were archeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress of Meripede?
Ah, what a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
Ideia adorável. Mas como você explodir a água não vai
Tempted as well.
subir, não?
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my
É
technical
duvidoso,
consultants.
né?
While
Mas-
Jurier used to be Edwin's assistant, she used to be Jurier's assistant.
Ooh, are they together?
Isso realmente era necessário?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Vai direto ou eu vou mexer?
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
Pô, parece que o boneco tá sem cor, deve ser porque tá num local escuro, né?
Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
E a nossa irmã até hoje. Isso é apenas uma sala normal?
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
Pois. Um barco. Isso é
What a
submarino.
huge
Navio
ship!
imenso.
This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's going on?
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty.
Remuriana.
According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the surging waves. He called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontainians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster.
Esse é um plano imenso. Por que não pode compartilhar esse plano com todo mundo?
Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. All right, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Do you have any other questions? Seems like you're good. Come on, I'll take you back.
Levou a gente de volta, descobrimos isso tudo, e aí? Tá ligado? E aí, agora?
I'll leave you here for now.
Tá.
Oh, thank you so much.
Deixa eu voltar pra falar
No
com
worries.
o amiguinho lá.
Don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those 3 as well.
Ele quer dizer que minhas ações agora irão decidir os próximos passos que o grupo de Lane irá tomar, né? Em outras palavras, se quiser contar a verdade a Lane, eu preciso fazê-lo entender.
We'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Sim, iremos.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
Estou ansioso também, né? Por enquanto só diálogo e diálogo, tome diálogo pra cá, diálogo pra lá. É só isso, pô. Caminhada calamitosa, né? Opa, ainda bem que eu não caí. Calamitosa. Retorne para a enfermara. Enfermaria. Tô com enfermara na cabeça. O que é isso aqui? Tem mais um, né? Vou pegar isso aqui. Ó, pouca coisa. Tem mais aqui não, né? Ó, tem aqui, ó, Fontaine. Número. Deixa eu ver aqui. Inazuma. Filha dos Trovão, Mar da Neblina. Titãs da Montanha Nevada. Falta quase nada aqui. Ponto fora deste mundo. E do Retorno Eterno. Derrote do Dragão. Já tô tomando spoiler aqui. Já tô tomando um spoiler. É melhor não. Eu sei que eu vou ter que matar o dragão aqui dessa região, velho.
We're back!
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, I just remembered something now. While I was sedated, I could still barely hear two people talking next to me. They were discussing everything, from the leaves to the water and even the teacups themselves.
Must have been Risley and Sishwin.
Yeah, I heard one male voice and one female, so it should have been the two
Eu
of
sei que
them.
terei que matar o dragão
They
aí, velho.
really were just talking about brewing tea.
I really can't make sense of this place.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn anything from Risley?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations?
Linen parece estar bem mais normal. Você está se sentindo melhor agora?
Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more
Pô, a gente vai
relaxed
ter que
now.
derrotar o dragão agora.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijwin is
Mais
also busy
né?
with something or other. So let's just talk here.
Então o vilão desse
Alright,
arconte
then I'll
é o mapa
posit my
primordial.
theories. I asked myself 3
Meio
questions.
abalante, né?
Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is probably very close to the fortress of Mirapede.
Olha, ele sabe já de tudo, não precisa nem te contar, pô.
Ooh, he's good. He got that right on the first try.
Acertou tudo de
That's
primeira.
Lenny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first, then suddenly roadblocked us. Why? I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because he was hoping we could find Master
E nada do
Child for him.
shield também, né, velho?
What's more, the fortress of Mirapede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. Risley is basically the king of a no-man's land. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure
A
the
gente tá com a
Fontaine
visão do
authorities.
shield.
And while the two factions
Mais
are
nada,
pitted
né?
against each other, Risley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret of the infirmary, but I just can't think of what it could be.
Você tem um ótimo senso de dedução, Lene.
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. Then finally, there's the last question.
Diga.
If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. He's even gotten Cloran to help him out. That can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has a bargaining chip, and it could be important enough for Father to deal with him directly. I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be. But let me guess. You have the last piece
Essa-
of the puzzle.
Depois de muito pensar, você divide, né, a informação. Quando compartilha o que viu, você enfatiza. Ok.
I can't believe it.
Essa velocidade toda também.
The sea will engulf everyone. Just like the prophecy said.
Assim como se diz a
Could Risley
profecia.
have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis. But how could Risley have known that?
Or perhaps he didn't know and just wanted to bring Father over to his side, which could be why he said he just wanted to
Não tem como
negotiate.
saber.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to pass this on to our father. No matter what, we're on your side.
Estamos do seu lado.
The two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here right now if not for you. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth at any
Ih,
time.
será que vai só no
Though you may
próximo.
not share the
Vai
sentiment,
terminar aqui,
after
velho?
all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as family now.
Não, não é possível.
You
Vai
have
ter que
my
esperar
gratitude.
mais meses, né?
Thank you for protecting Linny when it
Acho
really
que tomara
mattered.
que não, velho.
And thank you for sharing the secrets of the
20
fortress
dias,
with
eu acho
us.
que não vai vir depois de 20
We
dias.
didn't think you were going to do it.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Não há de que. Podemos trabalhar junto novamente se for necessário. Foi isso. O pai me tá com fome.
Paimon's hungry.
Oh, you've done so much already. Go get some food.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys another time.
Ah, então ainda não vai terminar não. É, não vai terminar não. Vai pro refeitório. A gente tem que fazer um negócio novo ali, velho. Nem sei onde é. Pô, faz tanto tempo que a gente tá aqui debaixo, não vê uma luz do dia, né, velho? É lá embaixo, eu posso deitar, descer.
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals now being
Transmissão
served
da
at the
prisão.
common cafeteria.
A gente não tá assim. A gente tá com cupom?
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well. Traveler and Paimon, over
A
here.
enfermeira.
Are you here for dinner too, Miss Sijwin? Uh-huh. And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's dinner as well. Huh. You're right. She's actually sitting in the fortress cafeteria. What would you like to eat?
Ah, podemos escolher?
Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Eu vou querer o que tem mais gostoso, vou querer a maior porção que tiver.
Me too! Don't forget Paimon! No problem. Just leave it to me.
Depois de um tempo da refeição, você pediu para chegar na mesa, tá. Trouxe algumas bebidas, gosto um pouco estranho. Apesar de um gosto horrível, os shakes pelo menos ajudam a relaxar.
Delicious.
Fantástico, né? Nossa, a cabeça tá horrível. Jantar de graça é melhor.
Paimon's so happy. Paimon wants to feast like this every day.
Pai, toda feliz, ó.
Feeling full yet? How's the food?
A comida tava boa, velho.
Delicious.
Supimpa, muito boa, obrigado. Com exceção do chá. Tava tudo uma delícia.
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression on your face just now? The muscle here just moved, which suggests that you're feeling quite relaxed at the moment. Sijwin, do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human beings? A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a Melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you. You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older sister. Really? You're reminded of an older
Irmãzona.
sister? That's great to hear. Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Linny and his siblings as well? Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the water. Thankfully, Clorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Clorand left, to make sure that Linny wouldn't impulsively chase after his brother. Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door once Miss Clorand had returned. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linny as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to be in any real danger.
You were all super considerate and really thought everything through.
Pensar em tudo.
It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least this has been His Grace's style for as long as he's been the leader. Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervulai would come down here more often too. I feel like he'd like it here.
Da escuridão do caos. Mas isso não faz sentido nenhum. É difícil imaginar o Nervulai fora do seu escritório.
Good night's rest, you two. You both worked very hard.
Completamos. Caminhada calamitosa. Não, eu vou fazer o evento aqui. Vamos pro evento. É onde? Lá em Mostad, cara. O evento é lá do outro lado do mundo. Meu amigo. Nunca mais, hein? Sair do escuro lá, velho. Ver a luz. Tá no quartel-general. Isso aqui é com a Clay, né? Com a Clay. É com ela, pô. Tenho quase certeza. É com ela, sabia? Acho que eu já fiz essa missão já. Olha ela aí.
Okay, got it. But fish taste best when they're freshly blasted. Grill them over a fire and they'll turn extra crispy and smell so good.
Don't worry, Jean has informed me about all that a while ago. So, I went ahead and placed some orders at Good Hunter. Over the next few days, their chefs will be preparing the best fish fresh from the lake and cooking them right away. Freshly cooked fish served with Clee's favorite spices and my specially prepared desserts.
A gente já fez isso aqui.
Just as delicious as your catches.
A gente já fez. Tenho quase certeza.
Okay, then I'll trust your taste, Lisa.
Vou confiar no seu gosto.
Promise I'll stay in the city and play Dodoco's boom-tastic adventure. I won't go fish blasting or make any trouble for Albedo's friend.
E aqui estamos nós, né?
Anyway, I'm gonna go look for Mr. Honorary Knight and Paimon now.
Olha eu atrás de você.
Is someone looking for us?
É bem raro ver vocês juntas. Parece que vocês fizeram um acordo importante.
Mr. Honorary Knight and Paimon! Clee was just thinking about you and then you appeared. How'd you do that?
Como mágica.
Did you somehow magically hear Clee's thoughts?
Oh, little cutie and Paimon, you're here just in
Fofura,
time.
ela me chama de
Looks like I won't
fofura.
have to go to the trouble of writing you a letter now.
Os desejos de Clay nos invocaram. Chegamos aqui atrás da mágica, da pura coincidência.
We had some time on our hands and wanted to look for something to read in the library. Anyway, what's Dodoco's Bombastic Adventure? It sounds way more fun than reading a book.
Encontro Explosivo de Dodoco.
It's a new game Lisa made for me. We came up with the name together. You're amazing, Paimon. You remembered the name so quickly. Whoa, you can design games, Lisa? Paimon thought that you were just into books.
I merely drew some inspiration from Shroomsplosion, a game from back when I was a student. It didn't really take too much effort. As long as we keep Clee happy during these unique circumstances, I'm willing to design as many games as she likes.
Circunstâncias únicas.
Oh, now that Paimon thinks about it, Clee mentioned Albedo's friend, right? Did something happen in Mondstadt?
It's not too serious, but the situation
A
still has to
Lisa.
be treated with caution. Recently, fish species native to Sumeru have begun appearing inside her lake. Allowing them to spread would put the ecological balance of Mondstadt's waters at risk. Luckily, Klee noticed some fish she'd never seen before while she snuck out to play. She caught a few and showed them to Coalla. If it weren't for Klee, I'm afraid most of the local species would have already receded by the time ordinary citizens fully grasp the situation. And if a change occurs in the underwater ecosystem, it could very well affect the quality of water inside her lake. Consequently, the entire wine industry of Mondstadt could be in danger, and that poses a major threat to our economy.
I saved the day! I even got praised by Master Jean!
Bom trabalho, Klee. Você mereceu mesmo.
So that's what happened. Whew, good thing Klee noticed the fish before things got out of control.
The investigation team sent out a few members to inspect Cider Lake and look for the origin of the intruding species. To avoid disturbing these little invaders, Klee has to keep her treasured bombs away for some time. The investigation team's instruments are extremely sensitive, so any explosion within a certain distance of the lake would affect their data. Jean said that Klee would definitely get bored being cooped up inside the city all the time. Albedo's busy making improvements to the reconnaissance company's experimental equipment, while Kaya just left for a business trip. So the task of looking after her fell on my shoulders.
But I'm not bored anymore because Lisa invented Dodoco's Bombtastic Adventure.
Conte com a gente. Vamos brincar até anoitecer.
All right, the game table is right over there in the garden. The orders I've placed at Good Hunter will also be delivered there. Please enjoy yourselves. It's not every day you get to play games with Klee, surrounded by the scent of flowers on the breeze, with delicious food delivered right to you.
Pô, isso aqui eu acho que a gente já fez, velho. Se eu pesquisar lá na playlist, eu acho que a gente já fez essa missão. Tenho quase certeza.
Besides, as the librarian, I still have my basic responsibilities to take care of. Run along now. Have fun playing with Klee.
Vamos cuidar bem da Klee. Valeu, Lisa.
Okay, then. We'll catch you later, Lisa.
A gente se vê depois, velho. Agora que começa. Vou sair. Cara, acho que a gente já fez isso aqui, velho. Tenho quase certeza, mas vambora. É no parque. Ah, a gente já fez, a gente saia correndo. Nossa, a gente já fez. Ah não, esse aqui, ó, não sei. Teve um que a gente ficou subindo em cima dos prédios, né? Dodoco Aventura. Acabou um... Como é que joga isso aqui, velho? Agora que começa, agora que começa. Avançar. Ah, vai mudar, vir pra cá. Iniciar o jogo. Ó, diferente, a gente nunca jogou não, tá diferente, tá. Observe o funcionamento dos peixes espinhentos e escolha as bombas saltitantes corretas. Depois de jogar as bombas saltitantes, use o tempo correto para fazer elas explodirem. Aproveite o máximo. Pô, não tem nenhum tutorial? Tá. Derrote os guerreiros peixes espinhentos usando uma bomba saltitante especial para obter um ponto. Derrote o espinho rei para... Tá. Bombas saltitantes especiais possuem uma área diferente de explosão. As especiais são a dourada, né? E a verdinha normal. Considera a característica... Ok. Depois de jogar uma bomba saltitante especial, se ela entrar em contato com um peixe espinhento ou objeto, ela explodirá. Ok. Após arremessar uma bomba saltitante especial, você pode pressionar o botão de arremesso novamente para que a bomba exploda imediatamente. Oh. Vou fazer a limpa. Tá. Ela pega em mais, né? Apeguem mais. Não tem jeito, vai ser assim. Ah, mas aqui é tutorial, né? Não tem como perder no tutorial. É melhor apertando espaço. Aí eu... Ah tá, achei que era pra deixar pressionado. É só clicar, eu ia falar, ué. Ah, esse aqui é fácil, pô. Mas é diferente, né? Tranquilinho, tranquilinho, ó. 39, desafiar de novo. Ah, selecionar a fase. Será que tem mais pra gente ir? Ou é só a primeira aqui? Ah, a segunda tá bloqueada, só depois de 9 horas. Pô, diferente. Diferente, mas gostei. Mais dinheirinho, né? Ou será que eu tento pegar aqui, velho? A arminha dele? Vamos, né? Uma tentativa só. Não peguei, peguei algum boneco. Não. Peguei essa espada, já tenho uma espada grande de favônias, velho. Não peguei. Tudo bem. Tudo bem, velho. Mas acho que é isso por hoje, hein? Acho que é isso por hoje. Obrigado mesmo que acompanhou a live. Valeu mesmo de coração. Nos vemos amanhã se tudo der certo. Vou tirar isso aqui. Dá só deixar assim, né? Deixa eu sair daqui. Obrigado mesmo que acompanhou a live. Valeu mesmo de coração. Nos vemos amanhã se tudo der certo. Fiquem bem. Se gostou, deixa o like. Se inscreve para ajudar o canal. Valeu mesmo de coração. Nos vemos amanhã se tudo der certo. Fiquem bem. Até logo. E fui.